We just got 2 new kits, and they are the Kitchen Clutter Kit as well as the Restoration Workshop Kit, which comes with these really beautiful broken appliances that are so retro and colorful and just so pretty. And so I was really excited to try and use some of them. So as you can see, I picked some that came in a few different colors, and I really wanted to use this kind of retro tile that came with Parenthood. So this is going to be a really retro apartment, which I was very excited to do because I've been wanting to have another one of these on the channel for a while. I don't think I've ever, I'm sure I've done a house, but I don't really remember if I've done a retro apartment before. So this was very exciting, and as I said, I had been meaning to do this for a while. And this was the perfect opportunity to do both things, like a super cluttered kitchen and a very retro space. So that was really exciting. I also used the counters from Parenthood, and these I think are, and these are the colors that I went for. In the end, I think that they do look kind of old-fashioned, and I really like that about them. And I also had to grab these from the gallery because there isn't a way for you to get them in the not broken state. So thankfully, a bunch of people have already uploaded versions of these to the gallery. And I really hope that you could get both versions of these, the broken and the fixed one. But yeah, if you have access to the gallery, that isn't such a problem. But I haven't mentioned that we are in 1321 Chic Street. So this is one of those apartments that is pretty small because I knew that it was going to take so long to decorate this kitchen, so I didn't want to have this be such a big apartment. Although I'm not sure why this one person has such a cluttered, messy kitchen full of stuff. But anyway, I was thinking it was probably a couple, and that at least one of them was a writer. So probably the other one is a chef. Is a chef or something. I don't know. You could tell that story. There's definitely enough stuff for it here. And this is an It's TLC apartment. It's the one with the like body marking the ground. So that's interesting. But I covered that with some carpeting and a rug, so you won't really see that. What you will see though are some of the mice holes and these electricity box and the pipes, which are kind of leaky sometimes. But I didn't end up keeping this as the... I didn't end up having an actual eating space in here because I decided to use the... It's like a little cart that comes with these kits, so I chose to use that instead, and to have a separate dining space, which I think actually came out really cute. So I'm happy with that. And yeah, that gives your Sims a bit more space to fix the pipes and the electricity box. I did actually play test that, so none of the main things are blocked in this apartment. Some of the radios are, I think, but most stuff works just fine. But yeah, now we are just adding some of the clutter. I decided to only add clutter from the kit before I added stuff from other packs and DLC. And I am using the pre-cluttered upper cabinets from the country kitchen kit, from which I actually did get some items just to decorate, but it still has some like open spaces, so I was able to add some clutter into those areas just with a shelf. And also I added some more stuff on top of the fridge, since this one doesn't have a small cabinet that fits the way I would like it to above a fridge, so I decided not to do that. And I ended up having this cutting board on the cabinet because it just looked weird here above the microwave, and you actually can put stuff on top of that. Oh, and some of the stuff that doesn't really work are the cookie jar and this lunchbox. Because they are floating, they aren't really... I didn't slot them to anything, so yeah. So if you wanted them to be functional, that's what you would have to fix. But otherwise, everything else is just for decoration. Oh, I also really love those scales and the timer. They look so retro and cute. But the scales are actually another surface, so you can actually put like an apple or whatever on top of them. And you can see that here I was trying to have these on that dining space, but it wasn't really going to work. And I really wanted to use as much stuff from the kit as possible. So I decided to actually have this like baking clutter here. So it looks like someone is making cookies, but you can only have the set on the right, which has eggs, flour, and the spatulas. And you can pretend that it's someone who is making a cake or something like that. Because it's not so specific to the cookies as the other item is. But yeah, I decided to have the cookie jar above the microwave, and this is one item from the kitchen, the country kitchen kit. And I also got another one here on top of the fridge, and I just got the spices on that other surface, which I thought worked out a lot better. And the cereal boxes I thought also made sense there. I think I've seen people keep cereal on top of their fridges. I can't really keep anything on top of my fridge because it has a cabinet, but I suppose that I would probably have something on top of it if it was just like open. I also really like these plants. They look like spices or herbs that you could actually add to like a dish or something to actually cook with them. And I am also really happy with the wall art. It has a few different styles of stuff, so I really like that as well. And here I just grabbed some items, mostly from cottage living. Yeah, I was going to say the farm pack, but I really wanted to have a teapot here on top of the stove. This stove is also really narrow, so it fits different than other stoves, but I kind of like that about it. I like that it doesn't clip and that it also can give you some more space if you want to have something beside it, like maybe a trash can or something, or a smaller counter. You could also do that. And I also added those jars on top of that, the cutting board. And this cabinet is also from Cottage Living. I really wanted to have a rotary phone on there, and I also got a wireless phone here in the kitchen, or a wall phone, just because I wanted everything retro here. And I was kind of going for a 70s vibe, but I'm not an expert, so I probably have stuff from a few decades here. But I didn't really mind. I was just going for the vibe of it, and I have a feeling that The Sims is also kind of in an ambiguous time period. And oh, and that fruit item is also from the new Clutter kit. And here I decided to have a chair just so that Sims could sit and talk on the phone more comfortably. And I got one from a movie hangout. It has these really bright swatches, but I think that this one is really nice. It has the same brown as the cabinet, and I'm going to be flipping this around just so that it looks a bit more comfortable and it's not right on top of that vent. I did play here just to play test it for a few days, and nothing ever came out of that vent. But I was able to fix everything else that I found in here. All of the neat DLC stuff was fixable without having to move anything around. And yeah, I'm just going to be adding some more clutter to this. I really like how there's like a tea set in there. And I just wanted some realistic clutter in here. So there's an open book and there's a tiny box. Oh, and I also got a hanging plant because I felt like it made sense, especially since I already had like the hanging fruit storage thing. And this plant from For Rent also tied in that yellow. And at first I thought about using these really old-fashioned, really big, bulky curtains. But in the end I chose not to do that, although I did keep these cute ones in the kitchen. And I decided to get the ones from Paranormal with the beads instead. And I think I also used curtains from For Rent in a few of the spaces in here. And I think that worked a lot better. I also struggled to find wallpaper for some of these rooms, so I have a lot of paneling, and here I went with a very, very old-fashioned wallpaper, but I thought that it was nice. I was thinking maybe this apartment is so like eclectic, because it's probably a very, very old apartment, and they've been fixing it through the years, so a few things they haven't been updated, such as that wallpaper. And since I was thinking that this was probably a writer or someone who is in that sort of career, I wanted to have an office, and I really liked how this space looked with the windows and with the bookcases. These are from the new expansion pack, the businesses and hobbies bag. And I really like this. I also really love the chair with the rug, but I actually ended up moving this office space to the front of the room instead of in this corner because I wasn't able to fit everything that I wanted in the living room with that layout. So I had to make some adjustments, and those were the main things that I had to change. Oh, and I really liked being able to add another one of those books, adding the typewriter sort of computer so that it looks even more like it could be an older sort of thing. I thought about adding the other retro computer, but I liked how this one was a bit more ambiguous. And those I have already added those curtains I was mentioning, and then I will size down some from foreign so that each of these windows can have its own curtain, and it actually fits great. There's a little bit of clipping, but you can't really see it, especially with this swatch. It's so busy, and I think it actually fits really well with the colors. Oh, the rug is from Strangerville, by the way, and that chair is from Eco Lifestyle. If you were curious about them, it's one of those chairs that you can get from a dumpster, so it's really cheap and it looks really old, which was perfect for my purposes here. And I think that I'm now just going to get some paneling, and then I'm going to be trying to add some couches and stuff for the living room, but it's not going to really work out for a while. So I cut out a lot of that, and suddenly everything is going to be flipped around. But first I added some lamps, and I really liked adding the ones from the Sleek Bathroom Kit. I added some pendants here in the living space, and I added the wall lights into the bathroom and the bedroom, which is it was going to be a slightly bigger bedroom than it ends up being, but I think that it all worked out perfectly. If you have two Sims, they will have everything they need. And yeah, but now we have started working here in the living room. I really wanted to use the same rug, but in this other swatch. I think that this swatch is just so beautiful and perfect, and I love it. And so I wanted to try and have some like yellows and oranges on that side of the room. And now I have already flipped stuff around, and I'm just finishing cluttering this space. I decided to have some shelves for some records, the record crates that came with the basement treasures. Um, and yeah, I added a painting from the Dream Home decorator that has that exact vibe, and it reminded me of these vases and the flowers. So I decided to have those in here and just to hang some decorations in there. And I wanted to have the vinyl here because I wanted to have this record player. This is from the Party Essentials kit, which is definitely not an essential kit, but it has some really nice items, and this is one of them. And I think I got another decoration on the wall, but I probably should have added some of the alarms and temperature controls and that kind of thing, but I just forgot about it, so sorry about that. They are not going to be on the version of this that I upload to the gallery, but I don't think that they would be too hard to add. There's probably a blank space in one of those walls. And this is what the living room was looking like. I added another painting, also from Dream Home Decorator, and I really liked this love seat from the movie Hangout stuff pack. And I also got a few other things from there. I got a poof, the candles, this mirror above that same love seat, and this stuff pack has some really crazy swatches and really bright objects, but there's a few that have some swatches that aren't so bright, so this couch had one, thankfully. And I also really liked adding these candles in there. The thickness of these of the cutting board was the same as that like fake fireplace, so that was perfect. And yeah, I just added some finishing touches in there, a tarot deck. I also wanted to have some more stuff here in the dining room, so I added some portraits from like family and some frame stuff and some plants in some of these corners. I thought that this cow plant was kind of cute, and the hanging plant is always great. And now we're going to be moving into the bedroom. I really wanted to use this rug from Businesses and Hobbies because it also looks kind of retro in some of its swatches. And it kind of worked with these bedroom seasons. And I think that the gallery wall that I added that is also from Movie Hangout, since it has some of those oranges and similar colors, I thought that it kind of tied everything together. And I really wanted to have the radio from the Cozy Kitsch Kit because it's so cute and retro and it's also colorful. And I decided to just have it in the default swatch because it felt like a natural thing. And I added this painting that I never use. This is from the base game and I always forget what the swatches on it are, but I thought that here it really worked since it had a very similar blue and I had brown everywhere, and I also thought that those lamps looked perfect in here. And I just added some clutter into these bedside tables. I like adding this shelf in some of these spaces because you can add stuff on top of it, such as these glasses, and it's very easy to move around without having to do all of the tricks with move objects. And I got a plant from the book. I think that I went back in there to change something. I don't remember what, but we'll find out soon enough. And on this other swatch, I just wanted to have a couple dressers and a mirror. Well, a big mirror and a smaller one on top of this dresser. Oh, I added an alarm clock. That's the thing that I added. I just think that this is also a very beautiful retro item and I am adding it into most of my builds. If I'm not adding this one, I'm adding one from high school years or the one from the Comfy Gamer Kit. And I really wanted to have a chair from Businesses and Hobbies, but it didn't really fit in this space, so I just have this tool. And I added one of the lamps from the, what's it called? The one of the festivals where you can get stuff for free, like thrifting. I've forgotten the name of that, but you probably know what I mean. And I added some clutter. That little tray is from the Sleek Bathroom Kit, in case you haven't seen it. And I think that it's a really nice item for bedrooms, especially, but it of course can also go in the bathroom. And I thought about adding some more of these wall lights. I also got a trash can, and I wanted to have something on top of the closet since it's a very short closet, so I got two of them and it still felt a bit weird. So I also added this plant, also from the Sleek Bathroom Kit, and one from Eco Lifestyle, as well as that basket, which I always really love. I like how there's a blanket just like dripping out of it. And now we're going to be working in the bathroom. I really wanted to use this toilet. It's a really funky one. It's from City Living and it's an unlockable actually. And I thought that it looked nice with the tile from Jungle Adventure. It's also a very bright tile. It's got those reds and oranges that I had in a few of these spaces. And I also wanted to have these cleaning supplies in the bathroom because they are from the Kitchen Clutter Kit, but that kitchen was already very, very cluttered. And I thought that this mirror, also from Sleek Bathroom, was kind of funky, so I was glad to add that. I also got a candle from Businesses and Hobbies, and since I was looking at the ceramic stuff, I also got one of the sculptures, and I added it into the bookshelf, which I thought was really cute. And now I'm adding some clutter also from Sleek Bathroom. So I think that even if it's such a muted color scheme for that kit, that it looks great in a lot of different spaces. So this one is really colorful, but I was able to add a bunch of stuff from it. And I thought about adding the towels, but I decided to just add the ones with the soap from the bathroom clutter kit instead, and also some combs. But I'm really happy with that soap and toothbrush set, and also the toilet paper. I think that it's also a very cute one. And I just got a fluffy rug in front of the shower and one of those gallery walls from Movie Hangout as well, which had some really nice colors. And then I think that I just got some towels, another painting from the Dream Home Decorator pack. Then I just added some finishing touches. I think I went back in the kitchen probably to fix something, but I think that's going to be everything for for this apartment. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you have any suggestions or something that you would have done different in an apartment like this one, I would love for you to let me know in the comments. Thank you again so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye everyone!